Story 1. 2. 0K. R. Malicious Compliance. Posted by you, Edimnian. 8 hours ago. Teach him how to do your job. Okay, boss. MOC. So this happened a good 15 years ago. And another story just reminded me of it. As always, I am a native English speaker sitting at a keyboard. So any typos are my own damned fault. To keep it short, 15 years ago and some change, I worked for a local computer programming company that made automation software. Our company got bought out by a bigger national company. And after the dust settled, corporate decided they were going to send a liaison down to our local office to learn how you do things, to be a better bridge between offices. AKA, hey new hires. Teach our guy how to do your job so we can let 3/4 of you go before next quarter. None of us were happy about that. But our new corporate overlords had spoken. A month or so later. Here's our liaison fellow all ready to go. So, show me the interface. He said. Oh, that's when we all stopped. Looked at each other. And grinned. For you see, the reason it took us so long to bring new people up to speed is that we didn't configure new projects. Configure in this corporate speak meant go check off the boxes in an interface until it does what you want. No, my good friends. We coded everything by hand. Our main program accepted straight up VB files. Not even scripts. Full-on files. And our new friend here was not a programmer. At all. The guy didn't know A for loop from a bubble sort. So, as we were instructed, we started walking him through our code. Here's our X policy. It's the most common one we use and is about 500 lines of code in its base form. Didn't you guys say you had some default policies you worked from? Oh yeah. But they end up being more trouble trying to customize than it is to just write the entire thing from scratch. So up here is where we're declaring our global variables. To our friend's credit. He tried. Oh, he tried for days. And every time we thought he was about to figure something out, we intentionally switched him up to an even worse one. We hired requiring a computer science degree. 6 months of on-site gearing up. And another 6 months of shadowing before we would let anyone handle a project on their own. This poor guy got the full year's worth of training in a week. To his credit, on his last day he flat out told us he was sent down to learn how to replace us. But that he was going to tell them that we were doing a great job, and if anything our timeframes were surprisingly short given what we were doing. We ran that department for a good 5 years before the inevitable revolving door of upper management decided to bring in a new, easier-to-use suite. People are still cave-etching about man I miss X. It could have done this in half the time. And instead of a 5-man team upkeeping everything, we have multiple departments that still can't manage to fix a broken image link in the new stuff 10 years later. 53 comments. Award. Share. Save. 347 people here. If you're enjoying this video, like, comment, subscribe, and turn notifications on. Story 2. $3. 6K. R. Malicious Compliance. Posted by you, fluid_reference. 19 hours ago. They will open shore. Boss. Sock. This story is retold from a friend. He was working with a landlord company as a handyman of sorts. He hated his job. Anyways, he got assigned to visit some tenants to do heat readings in their apartments. And the tenants had gotten the info beforehand. What do I do if they aren't home or won't open? He asked. Only to be met by a snarky "they will" by his boss. Fast forward a few days. Now H is out knocking doors and doing heat readings. A little over halfway through. One tenant doesn't open the door. He checks his notes. Nobody had been written up as away for that time. So my friend promptly continues with the other apartments. Goes back to the door and knocks again. No response. So he sat down on the stairs and waited until his shift ended. And a few hours into overtime, with overtime pay, boss called and asked where he, and the comp's NY car, was. And he explained the situation. The tenant hasn't yet opened the door. Boss got mad. And even more mad when he got informed that my friend was going to clock overtime for today. He informed the boss that he was refused instructions for cases such as tenant doesn't open the door. So he was waiting for the tenant to do so. Boss tried to fire him, but the union actually backed my buddy, so he got to keep the job. 81 comments. Award. Share. Save. 70 people here. If you're enjoying this video, like, comment, subscribe, and turn notifications on. Story 3. $vote. R. Malicious Compliance. Posted by U. Bunghole 2756. 5 hours ago. An honest class review. MOC. This story takes place in the spring of 2008 while I was a senior at my Catholic high school. My app English teacher periodically asked her students to write a review of the class. What we liked, disliked, what we would change, etc. Now, if you've ever had to do something similar, you'll know that the reviews aren't really meant to be honest, but rather ego-stroking exercises for the vast majority of teachers. My teacher was no exception to this norm. I cannot remember why I was in a bad mood that particular morning. All I recall is my pissy attitude persisted throughout the day until I got into said classroom. Before class officially started, a friend of mine was being made fun of for having highlighter all over his khakis. One had exploded in his pocket, basically covering everything on his left side. Our teacher then began to make fun of him as well, even dispensing with commentary throughout the rest of the class. Needless to say, this only pissed me off more. Cut to the end of class where the teacher began passing out the class review sheets. Being in the horrible mood that I was in, I decided to write a truly honest review of the class. I specifically mentioned how I thought it was childish for seniors to make fun of someone for something so benign, and how it was foolish and unprofessional for a teacher to pile on. It will be important later on to mention that I did not curse, nor did I use any language that I would deem inappropriate within the review. Predictably, I was called into the vice principal's office the next morning to answer for what I had written. The VP started off by saying that my teacher had read my review and began to cry because I had insulted her, and that she wanted me kicked out of class for the remainder of the school year. We had roughly 3 weeks left. Calmly, I asked the VP if my review contained any profanities or any inappropriate language. When the VP admitted the letter did not contain anything inappropriate, I simply said, "Then what am I doing here? You cannot hold me responsible for completing an assignment as prescribed by the teacher." Since I had done nothing wrong, the VP and my teacher could not kick me out for the remainder of the semester. And every afternoon until the end of the year I walked into that classroom with the largest shit-eating grin. 15 comments. Award. Share. Save. 45 people here. If you're enjoying this video, like, comment, subscribe, and turn notifications on. Story 4. $164. R. Malicious Compliance. Posted by U. Kelsia IV. 5 hours ago. There goes the sun, son. Sock. Brief story and no one was upset, just some chuckles. But it seems to fit here, so thought I'd share. Long ago, when I was in middle school, My mom had invited her sister, my aunt, and aunt's boyfriend to dinner. While we were eating, the sun shined in through one of the windows directly into my mother's eyes. After a minute or two, she said, "Ack, I wish the sun would go away." Without saying a word, I got up, left the table, and went to my room. From what I heard afterwards, everyone was confused for a minute or two, until my aunt's boyfriend mentioned the line that was said out loud just before my departure. "Yes," he said, "the sun went away." Was a bit silly, but gave me a chuckle. 14 comments. Award. Share. Save. 26 people here. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and turn notifications on.